Good morning, guys. Good evening. Good afternoon. I hope you're all doing well. What a fantastic day. Welcome to Mas on Sunday. This is Sajady. And just a beautiful place here that I'm at with lovely dear friends just hanging out. We're going to go skiing later on. But in this session of the Mas on Sunday, there's a couple really significant, say, transformations in the world. And many of you are feeling it, whether you're new to me or not, or many of you who've been new to me, not new to me, many who are XIers, exponentially intelligent individuals, you're starting to see that, whether people believe in, say, spirituality or, the matrix that's out there that really controls this reality or not, things are changing. No matter who you are, CEO level, people who are homeless, it doesn't matter. Everything in between, people are starting to realize that shit. What's more important, what's coming to light. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And that's why I picked the subject on, well, why self-improvement is booming, mindfulness, spirituality, enlightenment, what it's all about, and how to do it properly. Okay, because if there's so much information out there, and through the millennia, there's been so much information, a lot of religious information, a lot of spiritual information. But then if you look at the bottom line results, and that's what exponential intelligence is about, first principle methods, and then looking at the results. And it's not about the results after life or anything. It's about the results in this life. So if you look at that just statistically, just data wise, why aren't there more enlightened individuals? And, with COVID and everything happening, you seem to have less and less enlightened individuals. There's a vast separation. And because of that vast separation, I just want to talk about, say, the truckers issue there in Canada, and then in many other, say, countries. It's happening. It's a resurge of, hey, we want this enlightenment. We want to be who we are, humans. Not humans defined by, how much money you make, how little money you make, who you are, what your faith is, what you believe in, all that bullshit. That stuff doesn't matter. You're about human. So getting back to being human in its rightful mind. And then whatever you do, it doesn't really matter whatever you do. That's when whatever you do really becomes, or it's an opportunity for you to become enlightened. I'm going to be talking about that in just a second. But there's so much drama going on what's happening in Ottawa, and not too impressed about anything from both sides, by the way. But the key is both sides want the truth, and both sides think they have the truth. Well, if there's only one truth, then what's the issue? And that's the key. If you look at, say, that issue at a political level or at a world scale level, what truth is, and then down to your personal needs, right? On how you handle your kids, how you handle your life, how you handle your health, right? There's only one singular truth to everything that is. So what's the issue? If there's one truth and we're all fighting for the truth, and we're all fighting to be, healthy, happy, enjoy life the way it is, protect our kids, protect our, country, protect the world and all, what's the problem? Well, the problem is that there's so many different directions at this lower level of consciousness that people have issues with it. Their truth, they're running on their truth, or they're running on a group truth, or they're running on a truth, that the media or their religion or their science dictates it is. That's not the truth. If there was, you'd see more harmony. So why isn't there more harmony? Well, that's the key. And then fighting heads against each other like we are. And the truckers are doing a fantastic job. Very peaceful. I have to credit them on being peaceful, because that's the new paradigm, by the way. It's not just like, well, we're just following rules. The new paradigm dictates that anything of the past that you've done to fight for the truth, because whenever you're fighting for the truth, you'll get the same freaking results as the past, right? More wars, more destruction, more control, more rule sets, whatever it is, you reclaim what tool, say, that you use to fight for the truth. So this isn't about fighting for the truth. This is about standing for the truth. So again, the truckers doing a fantastic job, no matter what the media says. And that's another thing. You watch the media, and just as a tip, you don't want to watch just the media that, say, is conducive to your truth, because that's not the truth. You want to understand all, say, truth that's out there, or all points of view that are out there, and then you center yourself according to your perception of what it is. And if you were enlightened, everybody would come to, say, one singular truth. So let's take a deep breath in. We'll make it an experiential Mass on Sunday, like we always do. Take a deep breath in and just notice your chest, notice your heart. On the flip side, no offense against Prime Minister Trudeau, but shit, not a great leader. No offense. You know, I teach leadership at the higher levels, how to be a high level leader. You know, like the leaders, the type of leader that, you know, when they walk into the room, and nobody knows their title, nobody knows who the hell they are. They just walk into a room, they have that presence. That's the kind of leadership that I'm looking at, or that's the kind of leadership that I teach high-level individuals. So if you're not that type of leader, it's not impressive. I don't care about, you know, the money, your fortune, your fame, whatever, you know, invention that you created. If you're a leader, you should be at that level. It's like, okay, this guy is operating at that level, say, of intelligence or knowledge or wealth. But most people don't do that. So again, Prime Minister Trudeau, not too impressed. I'm not impressed with any other, say, heads of states, country, kings, presidents, or anything like that. They're not leaders. They're a lot of dictatorship, basically, you know, control mechanisms, the way they operate, the way they tell you stuff. That's not leadership at all. And that's really the corruption that's happening. By the way, it's not just their level. Your parents used to do that to you, right? They used to hide the truth from you. And then later on, you found the truth. It's like, fuck, why did my parents do that to me? So it's happening in all levels of society. I'm not just pushing the leaders. I'm pushing you as parents, or as, you know, CEOs, or as a spouse, or as a parent, or as a child. Again, are you running your optimal presence, your optimal truth of who you are? If you're not, what's holding you back? You know, why are you limiting yourself? Why are you being limited by others? That's the key. In this reality, we're not going to have protests. We're not going to have all those things. What we need is to stand for our own internal truth at a higher level of understanding of who we are. And then nobody can, say, control us. And then everybody at a higher level, say, perpetuates the strength that you are. Just like the group, the XI community. Guys, comment in on the XI community. Do you notice that? Again, I don't dictate you, I don't control you or anything like that, but I perpetuate your own grandness of who you are. And then you help me become grander. I help you become grander. You help me become grander. And that's called evolution. In human society, we fucking don't evolve, guys. We're just straight out. We haven't evolved since our physical form has evolved. That's why humans haven't changed much as far as, say, physical structure, because we've coming to the edge of perfection as far as physical structure, but consciously, logically, intelligent wise, we've flatlined. And some of the other Mass on Sundays, and then the lecture series on technological singularity, on why, like say, Ray Kurzweil and all that, those types of Ray Kurzweil, I did a Mass on Sunday on Elon Musk. What they're looking at, they're absolutely true. They're absolutely accurate. It's because we're so fucked up. We need technology to help us survive in this reality. We need technology to take over us because we've dumbed ourselves down so much. In fact, the reason why we have the issues that we do at this level is, one, that governments have, and us allowing it, have dumbed us down so much that we've gotten to the point that society's been so fucked up, so dumbed down that shit, we can't even be controlled anymore. So that's the key. And with every civilization that's happened back in history, we're so confused. We get so confused. Again, we don't even realize who we are. We get so confused that you can't be controlled. And then the culture or the civilization goes into extinction. So simple as that. And then we start over again. By the way, consciousness, or this planet, or even God doesn't really give a damn. If you fuck up your opportunity, you're extinct, and then a new version of you comes out. That's all. Simple as that. So because of all this, we all want the truth. We all want the truth. I'm going to do a mass meditation, a universal meditation coming up. I don't have the dates yet because we just have, we just thought of it just a couple of days ago. So look for that. Join me on sajady.com. Join on the newsletter. You got a lot of free content, a lot of free meditations that can transform your life. So join the newsletter and you'll get information on how to join. And I encourage both sides to join, because we all want that singular truth, right? And so this is about evolving our consciousness so we can understand, so we can go to a higher level and understand, say, that singular truth that we are. And then hopefully both sides will merge together and we have a solution, a peaceful solution without wars or anything like that. All right. So that's that. Again, join in, comment in here as well. Tell your friends about it. Tell your enemies about it, so we can all come together as humans, because that's what this meditation is about. Becoming human, or going towards the truth. All right. So with that in mind, oh, by the way, please like our content here on YouTube so we can create more free stuff for you. All right, so mindfulness, spirituality, enlightenment, right? How to do it right, or why self-improvement is booming, the truth behind the surge in spiritual practices. Okay, so overall, and again, just to condense it in the half-hour show that we do, and then that way it gives me opportunities to scan you all and tell you exactly where you're being held back, so you can enlighten yourself. So we'll get to that in the second half. And that way I can show you my abilities. And it's not to impress you or anything like that. It doesn't matter to me. But it's there to go, shit, what is this guy tapping into and how could I do that? Because we're all the same. Okay. All right, let's take a deep breath in. Notice your upper back in between your shoulder blades. And even if you don't believe me, and again, even if you're new, your life is not working out. So try something else. So why the surge in this? If you do a Google search, keywords like enlightenment, spirituality, that's coming up, right? Self-improvement. Why is that? Well, the reason for that is because consciousness is enlightening itself. Consciousness is becoming more efficient, and it's all about space-time. Okay? Not going to get into all the details. Just say we're evolving to a higher level, or a higher level of standard of who we are. Just like any invention, right? Just like any invention, right? It's pretty rough in the beginning, like your cell phone, computers, or anything like that. What we have today, in our computer, right? Cell phone. Back in the day, the computer that launched, the rocket to the moon was less powerful than what you have in the palm of your hand. Right? Back in the day, the phone was, remember, it was a clunky case, right? It didn't work well and you could only make calls. Now look what you can do. Pretty amazing, right? So it's evolved. Technology evolves. Well, if you think of space-time, right? And I know a lot of scientists go, well, space-time, it's kind of a theory out there, and it's a measurement. It's really not. It's more, space-time would be more, I would consider it a molecule, or how you render your life. So space-time gives you the principles on how you operate. So electromagnetism, gravity, and all that. Okay. And again, I talk about that in the lecture series, or even the Moss Experience on the Best U TV. You can take a look at that if you want to understand space-time, if you want to know consciousness, if you want to know, say, realities and simulations and all that. It is literally, we're in a matrix. The matrix is evolving itself. Okay. The matrix is evolving itself. The blockchain, as I would call it, is evolving to a more efficient system. We're part of that system, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. We're part of that system. Nature evolves, put it to more simply, right? It's evolved over millions of years to be its best possible self. We're part of that system. Again, whether we like it or not, we're moving forward. So as we move forward, the concepts that make us human, right? Like working, doing all the things that we do. Those things that we do, again, it's not about you shouldn't do those things, but that's what's happening. A lot of people are, say, getting forced because of COVID. If it wasn't for COVID, by the way, it'd be fucking something else that would force you to wake up and go, hey, consciousness is awakening. It's becoming more efficient. It's creating another version of itself out there. Do you want to upgrade to that next version? So whether it's COVID or anything else, consciousness dictates that you fucking awaken. You have to awaken because it's free will. Humans have free will. Okay. So because of that free will, consciousness has to give you a wake up signal. It's like, hey, we're going to upgrade, just like you get an upgrade on your phone. It's like, hey, you have to upgrade. Otherwise, you can't continue using your phone. So basically, consciousness is saying the same thing. You have to upgrade. Otherwise, you're not going to exist in this reality anymore. This reality won't be, say, supported anymore. Hence, a lot of people crossing over. Again, whether it's COVID or not, something will happen that a lot of people cross over. And it's not the World Health Organization or Bill Gates that dictates, hey, there's too many fucking people and, we have to cut them down. It's not about that. Again, it's just nature, simple as that. So because of that, we're awakening. And I'll give you another example, by the way, just to make it clear. We're awakening. It's forcing us to realize who we really are, getting back to our roots, so to speak, not simple times, because our roots is highly advanced. We are a being that's highly advanced technologically. Just say the concepts of just our vision. It doesn't compare to any, say, the best cameras that are out there. Whatever we do, again, we're highly advanced technologically. Okay? Again, so it's not about going back to simple times, by the way. It's about coming back to who we are as humans and then enhancing who we are as humans, using our own abilities and using that technology to enhance our own abilities and not to replace our abilities. So that's what it is. We're evolving to that next level. Okay, let's take a deep breath in again. Notice your spine. So as again, consciousness awakens, gives you the signal, we're upgrading, whether you like it or not, you better wake up. People start to awaken and go, shit, you know what? I've slaved my life away. I've been abused so long. And now I'm abusing myself with wealth, with success, because that's what this paradigm is about. The more money you have, the more success that you have, the more happy you have. That's one of the biggest lies there are. I work with a lot of 1%ers, guys. They're not any happier than the poor. I'm not saying, and then the poor, again, so it's not about the money. It's not about the success. It's about you becoming human. So what does that have to do with mindfulness, spirituality, enlightenment? I'll give you, that's coming up in just a few minutes here. Let's take a deep breath in again. So we're awakening. Okay, we're awakening to the point that's like, gosh, what's really important for us? And people are deciding. And this is the problem. People are deciding, I'm going to split from becoming successful, becoming happy, having enough, say, funds or money to enjoy the good things, like, say, God has provided us. I'm going to move away from that and then get spiritual or enlightened. That's the worst thing you can do, because I'll give you several reasons, but the main reason I'll just give you in a second. But that's the worst thing you can do, because then it's a split. You're sacrificing yourself. You're sacrificing yourself to become enlightened, by the way. And this is the problem with I have as more and more people go towards self-improvement. Okay. There's a couple of problems I have, and I'll lay it out for you very clearly in just a few minutes here. What time is it? Wow. So let's take a deep breath in again. So the one key is that you sacrificed, get this, you sacrificed your whole life, right from childhood, right? The way your parents raised you, the way society deemed, basically programmed you to be, the way you age, you sacrificed your whole life to become who you are. And then you sacrifice yourself to get married, to have kids, to, go to wherever, to have a great job. You've sacrificed everything to think that that thing will make you happy. That's why nowadays parents, they sacrifice having kids. What does that do to the kids, by the way? And again, that's the problem that we're having. So we're awakening to the fact that, hey, we've sacrificed all this, but then to solve it, as Einstein puts it, you can't create a solution at the same frequency or the same reality, as he called it, to solve the problem. So what are you doing to solve it? You're separating yourself from, say, the success and wealth, because a lot of you are doing that, right? You stayed at home. It's like, shit, now I know what life is about. I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to do less hours. I'm going to work, whatever. And then I'm going to, go towards spirituality and enlightenment and go back to nature. So you're sacrificing yourself. If you want to become spiritually enlightened in any form, whether it's wealth, just physical money, or spiritually enlightened, like a Buddha and Muhammad, and I'll give you some examples of them as well. There's no sacrifice. That's the key. There's no sacrifice. Imagine this. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in. Notice your throat. If you were completely an awakened being, and again, an awakened being, or if you knew your spirit, if you lived in this reality as your spirit, okay, or your limitless self, if you're atheist and all that, we all know that there's a deeper, bigger, grander version, no matter if you're atheist, a scientist, or spiritual or religious, it doesn't matter. We all know that there's a grander version of who we are, right? That's what exponential intelligence brings about, by the way. Would you have the propensity to sacrifice one thing for another? You wouldn't. You would have it all. You would literally have it all. So to become enlightened and let go, because you're rendering yourself of this reality. You're part of this reality. This reality dictates that you have, say, funds, money, wherewithal, whatever, to enjoy the pleasures of this reality. Okay. A lot of people want to separate themselves from this reality. Buddhism, for example, that's a big no. And again, not against Buddhism the way Buddha practiced it, but the way Buddhists practice it is like you remove yourself from this consciousness, from this reality. You reject all physical pleasures, so you become enlightened. And I'll give you the true meaning of what the Buddha would call it. By the way, I did a meditation on bringing in Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, and Abraham. And thanks for all the feedback. And again, for those who are new, and for those who did that meditation, comment in on how fantastic that felt. That was real enlightenment, by the way. That's just a taste on what you can be or do when you're really enlightened. So in that example, that's what a lot of people do. I'm going to sacrifice myself for that. So the way Buddha did it, by the way, is that what he basically said, and I'll give you the definition of what enlightenment is all about. Okay? Very different than spirituality or anything you've heard in the past. The way Buddha did it is that he separated himself and he centered himself solid. Okay, he became expansive. I call it your inner expansion. He went inwards and understood his inner expansiveness of who he is. So basically, he harmonized himself. He centered himself. He became singular with everything around him. Okay. And with that, he can integrate with the physical realms. He was a prince, by the way. Again, ton of money, right? He didn't lose his identity. That's the key. He didn't lose his identity. He reclaimed who he is. And then he had all the worldly possessions in front of him. But it didn't destroy him. It didn't create massive ego. It didn't distort him. When people are searching for enlightenment, you're moving from where you are, point A, and it's all about space-time, guys. And again, I teach it at a deeper level on the lecture series. If you want to, say, become enlightened, and this is what to look for as far as teachers or gurus or whoever you go to, you need to stay centered and then expand into yourself. Okay. Now, there are moments that, yes, you do deprive yourself of that for you to understand that those things aren't good or they're not bad, but you don't need them to survive. And we do this on the 18-day hyper meditations, where we get to a point that you can feel whole and complete without anything else, no matter where you are, no matter what point. And if you create that wholeness and completeness for a second, 10 seconds, a minute, 10 minutes, an hour, a day, a month, a year, your physical form, your physical experience would be massively, say, enlightened. Again, very abundant, by the way. So a lot of Buddhism, or a lot of Buddhists would go to that fact that Buddha sacrificed all that stuff, right? They stayed away. They shun women. A lot of Buddhists, they destroy, say, the beauty of women, the attraction for women and all that. They literally, one of the teachers that I heard about, it's like, well, you envision women as grotesque. You can't do that. You simply cannot do that. And the way again a Buddha would do it to become enlightened is that you stay centered while you see a gorgeous, beautiful woman, and you do not get deterred from it. You stay centered, and then you get to expand into who you are as you see the beauty in her without destroying or abusing her. You get to see the beauty and grandness of who you are, because whoever created that beauty created you as well. And then there's a deeper connection and honor. Okay? We are going to be doing a women's series, by the way, because women have gotten, say, a bad rap. Men as well. We're going to do a man series as well to clean up, say, that identity of being a real, say, feminine and a real masculine. So let's take a deep breath in. Another aspect, and I'll go through the concepts that have aired. So again, it's not about, say, moving away from the physical pleasures of life in Buddhism, right? To center yourself. It's centering yourself so strongly that you don't get deterred or destroyed by the physical pleasures of life, right? The other aspect that people try to do is they sacrifice, like in Christianity, in the Jewish faith. Holy crap! I think they're chosen because they're the chosen people. They're chosen to be abused. Literally, that's what their choice is. No offense, by the way, but if you look at any religious people who are Jewish, the Jewish faith, they have to fucking suffer like hell to get the money and the success that they have. Is that the kind of, say, success or happiness that you want? I've talked to a lot of Jewish individuals. I have a lot of Jewish friends. They want to get away from that paradigm. Catholic religions are the same, right? Catholic Christianity and all that. Spirituality, by the way, are takeoffs. They're just a version of those religions, by the way, right? You have to sacrifice. You have to take on other burdens. You have to, take on other burdens by helping them. That's how you help them. That's their definition. You'll never become enlightened doing it that way. So watch for those teachers that use like burden you for you to become, say, enlightened. You have to watch, and then look at how enlightened they are. Look at how complete they are. They don't have the complete package, right? If they're aging or the wounded healers and so on like that, right? They might look good on the surface, but there are so many self-improvement gurus, experts, and some of the top dogs in the industry, as I would call it, they're fucked up. So again, that's what they're teaching you. So be aware of the individual that's teaching you. That's highly, highly important. Let's take a deep breath in. So in those scenarios, in those spiritual scenarios or the enlightenment scenarios, by the way, we've called religion. Now we're calling it enlightenment. Before it was spirituality. Now people call it enlightenment. It's the same thing. It's just a rendering, but we just labeled it differently. That's all. So take a deep breath in. So those religions, again, it's a sacrifice pattern, and then it's a burden pattern, like Mother Teresa. You would think she'd be enlightened, but no offense, not that enlightened, because she would basically consider herself, the more people I would help, the more I would look good in front of the eyes of God, and then I would say, go to heaven. A lot of people consider that. How many of you have done that? I don't feel good. I'm going to go do philanthropy so I can help more people and all that. I did a topic on philanthropy. You might want to take a look at that. That's coming out. It doesn't work, because God doesn't need you to prove yourself. God knows your full potential of who you are. He's just waiting for you to say, practice it here. Okay, that's the key. Most enlightenment thinks that you are going to do something for God or a higher being, your higher self, or whatever, right? You're going to do all those things for something outside of yourself. It doesn't work, because the higher being already understands who you are. Okay, me at my level, again, much lower than any of those individuals. I look at you, and this is the way I help heal yourself. By the way, I don't heal you. I help you awaken to your natural grandness, and that's how you help yourself heal yourself from cancers and heart issues, or success patterns, or whatever else. So they already know the grandest version of who you are, as I do. All right, at a much different level. So you don't have to prove anything. So a lot of people, a lot of teachers that'll teach you is always about going outside of yourself and proving to yourself. You don't do that. You go inwards and understand, say, the grandness that you are, without guilt, shame, fear, or anything like that. So it's a practice. Okay. And again, I'll give you that definition of enlightenment. So let's take a deep breath in. A lot of other aspects of it is that it's a physical nature. Okay? It's a physical nature that we do to become enlightened. It's a practice that we do to become enlightened. Sure it is, but then the practice becomes, say, the religion for you. And then it, again, destroys you or disconnects you or limits you to, say, the potential of where you are here, okay? So a lot of times as well, when people become enlightened, they forget of the physical realm and they just want to stay at the higher realms. This is where a lot of people let go of everything physically, their families, and they go live in a cave. Yeah, you can do that. But the reason why you were created, or you created yourself in human form, is to experience the human experience. So living in a cave, sure, I guess that could be one human experience, but interacting with humans, that's why you're here, to expand all of consciousness, not just you. Okay. So the other aspect of it, again, is a practice. People start to look at practices or something physical that they do, like a mindset, that's right. And then they think they become enlightened. Let me give you an example. Say in the Muslim culture, what they do is like, shit, if I pray 5 times a day, or if I go to church, every Sunday, then, I'm going to be enlightened. But the key is, and I'm not knocking that stuff down again, but how are you doing that? Are you mindful while you go to church, or are you like playing on your phone while, the sermon's happening, or, are you doing your grocery list as, those, I was born in that culture, I see all these people praying and I'm going, I wonder what they're thinking about, because they're certainly not thinking about, that expansiveness like, say, a prophet Muhammad would, right? What he would do, and there's a story about him, by the way, that he got shot in the arrow, he got shot in the leg. And back then, they didn't have painkillers or anything. It's like, hey, I'm going to go and pray. And then you pull the arrow out or do whatever you have to. So he gets into that position. He becomes enlightened in that position. They pull the arrow out. He feels no pain. So people go, oh, yeah, he prayed. And that's how he got, say, enlightened. So people start praying. But it's not what you're doing is my point. It's not what you're doing at a physical level. That's my point. That's the key. It's how that could have been, but he could have done anything. For him, it was a prayer, right? So people start to go, well, shit, if he prays like, say, 1 time a day or 5 times a day, I'm going to fucking do 10 times a day. It's going to be better. Again, that's not the point either, right? Many people start to do that. You have to ask yourself, what realities of consciousness did he render himself in to become so complete that he didn't feel pain in this reality? What reality of consciousness did he escalate to? By the way, Jesus did that, Buddha, Muhammad, Abraham, all those great leaders, and many other people. I'm just giving you the 4 because that's, that would cover like the billions of people that believe in those religions. There are other people that do it as well. So let's take a deep breath in again. So we've covered a lot. So again, what you're really seeking for, okay, in searching for enlightenment, is that grander version of who you are on the inside, the inner expansion, which is a book that's coming out by me pretty soon. So it's that inner expansion of who you are, that internal desire of who you are, not a separation of who you are. So whatever you practice, make sure that you expand, and by the way, you could practice making money. Okay? You could practice not making money. That could be a practice for you to understand who you are at a deeper level. Any experience here can allow you to expand at an internal level or become enlightened. Enlightenment, I'll just give you a definition in just a minute, is all about, again, understanding the reality that you've created for yourself at a deeper level, understanding it, staying centered with it, and then expanding out into higher levels of consciousness. And then as a reflection of how that happens, you become enlightened, and your presence of who you are becomes so grand, you enlighten, say, the room when you walk into it. That's a true leadership. That's a true mother. That's a true father. That's a true human. That's where you want to be. Okay. You just don't want to go, well, he's an enlightened person because he did this. He's a yogi and all that stuff, right? You should just know that person is enlightened. It's like, whoa, who is that guy? That's what you want to be, right? Because you are the knowledge or the intelligence that you are, say, preaching. That's really key. Let's take a deep breath in. Let's see. So the other aspect, I just want to make sure. So what you're really seeking for is that grander version of who you are. And just to put it science-wise, you have your limitless self or your timeless self, as I would call it. Some of you would call it your spirit. You have your time-bound self. The enlightenment aspect is like coming together. So as what's happening is people are disconnecting. They're going further and further away from themselves. So they become less, say, interested in anything that they do, even mass amounts of, say, success and wealth and all that. What enlightenment literally is, by practicing, again, through normal, right, sacrificing and so on, you still separate. You might feel good because it's something different, but you're still separating yourself. And it limits you to a very, say, physical level of enlightenment. You can't go beyond that. You can't, say, expand into your grander version. Your grander version is an ageless version, again, where you age younger. Well, you're ageless. You don't age younger or anything. You don't have the diseases. You don't have the issues. You don't have all the corruption and so on like that. Anyway, coming back. So what enlightenment is, again, is an integration of your timeless and time-bound self. And that's where you feel the expansiveness of who you are in this physical reality. You have a conscious understanding, because you're in time and space, of the reality that you create yourself. Okay, so let's take a deep breath in. So if you're seeking for a teacher that's right for you, you want to see how they resonate, okay, or how they feel to you. You want to see their life experiences, not what they're just showing on camera or on the screen or on stage. You want to go back and understand them at their private level. Many people who've come from gurus and so on, right? You go to a retreat, you start to understand who they really are, and they come to me. It's like, "Moth, that guy is really fucked up." And these are really, say, famous, popular individuals. It's like, well, yeah, they've gotten to a certain level, but again, they might have. They've gotten to a certain level, but they didn't, say, enhance their light. They connected to a light that supports them. That's another thing that you want to watch out for. Is the light or the experience of themselves? Okay? You can tell it by those individuals who are, say, bright, they're healthy, they're happy, they're nurturing. Right. Otherwise, they become, say, angry. They're demeaning. They cut down individuals. They destroy others, and so on like that. So, I think we've covered it all. Yes, the main definition of what enlightenment is at a higher level, and again, I teach this in a lecture series, is that when you can understand, you have limitless possibilities of who you are. Okay, good and bad. You could be that thief. You could be that rapist. You could be that CEO. You could be, that next Jesus or Buddha or whatever it is. When you can understand all the possibilities of who you are in this reality, okay, and then center yourself as one and be who you are without getting distorted or disoriented. Okay, when you can, say, have vast amounts of wealth, or vast amounts of, say, poverty, and again, still stay centered and understand who you are. Okay, sometimes people experience that. Okay, they might be super wealthy, and then like me, for example, wealthy, and then I lost a lot, but then I reclaimed. In fact, my second near-death experience, pretty much lost everything. I lost the house, lost the yacht, all that stuff. And then a voice within me came in and goes, "Now that you've lost everything," it was a very playful voice, because he knew the potential. It's like, now that you've lost everything, what have you really lost? And then that higher consciousness, showed me the possibilities of who I was. And then it allowed me to remove the filters or identities or, things that we latch onto to hold on to our identity. And then that was the most expansive experience. Well, one of the most expansive experiences I've ever had. And I never looked back from that point, because that inner self, again, that timeless self, clicked in. And then I felt the possibilities of who we could be in physical form. And then I've recreated all that. Again, so you can have it all right? So again, enlightenment as a definition is understanding all the possibilities of what you could be and who you are, and then staying centered and defining yourself even more. So understanding all those that could be, and then redefining yourself in a purest version of who you could be without any, say, filters or lenses. All right. So hopefully that made sense. Comment in, guys. I'm going to move myself closer because I can't see it as well. So it might be right in your face, guys. Sorry about that. Hopefully that made sense. Again, comment in if it did. Let's move on to portion where I analyze people, scan people, and see what we're going on. By the way, if you really want, say, an enlightenment trajectory really fast, by the way, a lot of people think that you're going to take decades or lifetimes to become enlightened. Not really, because it's not a time-bound or space-bound issue. It's about an awakening issue. Okay, you can become enlightened having a near-death experience properly. By the way, that's me. All right. So personal optimization, relationships in March, that's coming up for you. 18-day hyper meditations, that's also in March 7th through the 28th. One of the fastest ways to transform yourself into one, also to become enlightened, you have to heal all the distorted versions of who you are. I'm sick, I've been abused, I have no money, I have money, whatever it is. You have to heal all those distorted versions of who you are, and then you move on and you expand. Okay, that's what XI is about. Again, you have to, to become enlightened, you have to be exponentially intelligent. Simple as that. Okay, the 18-day hyper meditations, that's coming up March 7th. Those who've done the 18-day, especially the total human reset, right? Again, comment in. So that's coming up. March 7th through the 28th, which is really going to be awesome for you. Again, it's the fastest way to transform your life in 18 days just by listening, because it's about frequencies. It's not about meditation, although it seems like a meditation, but it's not about hypnosis, psychology, state changes, that rah-rah state. It's got nothing to do. It's about shifting you into a higher level of consciousness, or again, becoming enlightened. And then it's your duty, your job to stay there. Okay. Help you with that. Frequency Spa, Sunday, March 13th. That's coming up. Frequency Spa is, and this is the coolest thing, where you literally start to become ageless. You live ageless. There's a lot of people who do, and Tony Robbins even wrote a book on youthfulness and longevity, and those are all fantastic. Again, there's a lot of great information on that. I suggest taking a look at the book. But the real key behind that, okay, so what we do is a complement of what he would do. The real key behind that is that you've seen people, they do all the right things. They take a shitload of, supplements and all that stuff, which is totally cool. But do you really need to do that? Or can you just resonate at a more youthful frequency, and then you naturally are? But you've seen a lot of people who take care of themselves, but they still look like their age, right? They just look a lot healthier. The key is that you can look ageless. Like, I'm 60 years old, right? So that's the key, is like, well, how do you do that? Well, by changing your frequency, you're changing, say, your time clock, genetic time clock. And that's what we're experimenting with here at XI. So that's coming up. That's a frequency spa where you, again, simply start to look ageless. Personal deprogramming. It's on survival, getting rid of that for you. That's on a lot of things happening in March. All right. So again, a lot of good stuff happening for you guys coming up. It's a great opportunity to get rid of the old world standards and come into, say, a new spectrum of who you are. Okay. Let's take a deep breath in. And before we get to, analyzing you, I just have to read this statement here. This is Sajady with Exponential Intelligence. Sunday, what is it? The 20th, February 20th. 2022. I don't diagnose or heal. I'm not a medical doctor. I scan your frequency signature, and I just tell you what you see. You make your own, get professional advice. You make your own decisions on what to do with that information. If I do give you, say, medical advice, if I ask you to be scanned, if you ask me to be scanned today, you're agreeing that we may use your session on any public media to help inspire others. So remember, if you don't want us to use this on any public media, it's very, very simple. Don't ask to be scanned. Okay, simple as that. And then all contents are protected by copyright. You may not use any of our content in any way, shape, or form for any purpose without our written permission. And the coolest thing on success is when people start to copy you. There's a ton of people that are copying, even using the same terminology that I use. The top level, the high level, very successful individuals, they're copying us right down to some of you all who are coming into your healing and natural abilities. So be mindful of that. Okay, guys. All right. So again, I'm going to move this forward a little bit. This one's kind of interesting. I've noticed that women with too much filler and Botox look so gross now. And I was so as addicted to all of that, thinking it was beautiful. So happy I detoxed. Yes. Off the need for cosmetic medicine. Absolutely. That's the key. A lot of people, what a lot of those individuals do, a lot of those women, you're probably naturally beautiful on the inside. You might have skin blemishes and all that, but what you're trying to do is, again, especially those, the thicker layers. And again, I'm not here as a makeup artist or anything like that. Sure, that looks beautiful. Makeup is necessary. Makes you more beautiful. That's great. But if you're trying to hide your personality and your identity, well, maybe you need something internal cleansing or internal beauty. And that's what we do at the frequency spas. Literally is like clean you out internally so you're beautiful on the inside and that glow shines through. And it's really amazing on how beautiful you can look, guys and women, with very minimal needs, say, for makeup. Okay? But if you need makeup, that's totally fine. This one, by the way, my abilities, can you scan me? This one is real. RIHO, is it? Hi, Moss. I did THR. It was amazing. Thank you. Can you please scan my progress? Yeah. So again, I don't need your full name. I don't need your picture, your birth date, and all that, because it's not about that. It's about, I'm not a psychic. That's why. It's actually I connect with your frequency that you're resonating, kind of like an IP address, and I can tap into it. Just like, like say Google taps into your IP address, right? And knows it was you that whatever sent the message and all that. So this one, again, hi Mouse, I did THR. Can you scan my progress? Yeah. So you're getting into a point where you're starting to understand or push away the limitations that you've always lived by. If you've always noticed that you wanted to say to do something and then something or someone says, hey, you can't do that. Or they say, you know what you're doing is not going to be great. And then let's go my way. And then you do go your way. And then it's like, shit, I lost myself, or they start taking control of you. So what you're doing now is like, wait a second, all those things that I've done, or you're getting more, say, controlling of your own life, going, wait a second. Let me analyze what you're thinking about. And then let me see what I'm thinking about and say, understand it, rather than going, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm no good. I'm not that intelligent. I'm just going to go with you. So you're pulling back and going, no, I'm going to go my path. At first, it might be a little lonely, but then on that path, you'll find some really deep connections that'll perpetuate the grandness of who you are, not cut you down to get, again, pull you into, say, their path. Okay. So again, really beautiful. Nice job. This one, let's see. Could you please scan me? I did the THR in January 22nd. How am I doing? Again, M. Lenner, you're doing really good. You're out of your head because, yeah. So you've been hurt a lot of times, or you've seen your mother hurt. There's a lot of mother frequencies in you. And what you've done is like, well, shit, I've seen that's what it is. So it's like, gosh, I see my mother. She's emotionally damaged, right? So I'm going to be smart. I'm going to think this out logically. So basically you've closed yourself off, and just gone into your headspace, which is okay initially, but then you have to come back. So you have to come back, center yourself, head, heart, and growing. Okay. And by the way, the 18 days coming up for those be fantastic for you. 18-day hyper meditations. So what you're doing now is like, wait a second, I feel safe enough. I feel comfortable enough to enjoy emotions, right? Because you go through life, you might have had relationships and all that, but you just go through it. You didn't really feel it because you wanted to stay safe, right? So kind of like you were experiencing life from behind a window. Now it's like, you know what? I'm really safe. I'm really secure. I know I might get hurt. That's okay, but I'm going to feel that experience and grow and expand from it. So instead of living life behind the window, you're actually going, I'm going to step into life. And that's a beautiful space. So basically, you're stepping into your body. Sometimes when you step into your body, you might feel the pain, the emotions, and why you say went up into your head and closed your body off. But then even that feels really good to you. It's amazing. It's like even that will feel really good to you because it's vibrancy. And this is where even negative emotions expand your inner self, again, become enlightened. By the way, if you want to become enlightened, you can't move away from the negative and towards the positive because that creates judgment. And you can't judge. Like I said, the definition of, say, enlightenment was what? Understanding all the possibilities of who you are without judgment and then staying focused or centered. So let's take a deep breath in. This one is Lionel Francis. And again, if you're new, say you're new and you'd like a scan, would appreciate a scan, Lionel Francis. So take a breath in, Lionel. By the way, if I scan you, I'm working on you as well. I don't know if you have neck issues or somebody in your family has neck issues, that kind of deal. Either way, again, I'm not diagnosing. I'm just seeing you have neck issues. But around that neck is like burdens of life, burden of family. So everything that happens, especially say good things in life, become a burden to you because it weighs you down. Again, and then what happens is like it's a separation of who you are at a deeper level. So you're coming into that faith, that space, you're realizing, say, that things are a burden to you. And then the key point here, Lionel, is that things aren't a burden. It's just you have a program that everything becomes a burden. So whether it's good or bad, it becomes a burden. And you're separating yourself from it. And then you're understanding yourself that, hey, wait a second, this life isn't about burden. There might be some, grandma, a lot of religion on your grandma. I don't know which side. But anyway, a lot of religion in that field, although you might not be religious, again, you're still controlled by religious frequencies. So what's happening for you is like, wait a second, does everything have to be a burden? So you're getting rid of that pattern now, is just helping you with that, as well as your physical issues that you've got with the neck or somebody that has neck issues. But if I scan you guys, please comment in on how accurate I am. I know I'm accurate, but it's just good for you. And then for those people to go, where did he or how did he tap into that? So I can do it as well. This one, Adriana Moss, can you please scan my relationship with my family? Well, the reason why you're asking me that is because you're ready, you're strong enough, Adriana. So it's actually an okay. You always need people to tell you what to do. Okay. Two, so if you're like that, your family dictates who you are. So at the level that you're at, again, congratulations, whatever you've done with me, you've become exponentially intelligent. So what you're doing is like, wait a second, I can think for my own. Okay. And then you're basically confirming with me. It's the last, say, person basically telling you what to do. So I'm going to tell you to live your best damn possible self that you can be. Okay. So that's an order for you, Adriana. And then what you do is basically you're asking me, hey, Moss, you know what? I've run sacrifice patterns for my family. I've run guilt patterns, right? Is it okay for me to separate and be my own person? So, Adriana, yes, it's okay for you to be your own person, make your own mind, make your own decisions on that. Again, even me telling you, think about what I told you, and if it's right for you, then go that way. So it's a separation. You don't have to worry about your family. In fact, as you clean up and become master of who you are, you're going to help your family way more than, again, limiting yourself or dropping yourself down to support them, because they'll drown you like they have been, and they'll pull themselves down. So you're that, say, life preserver for them. Okay. They're not going to be latching onto you. You're going to show them, say, how to swim. So, because you've made it already. All right. So really nice job. Just go that next level. Yeah, I'm on the next level and don't give a crap. Nice job, Bandana. How am I doing? 6 years with XI, good. yes, you're doing really fantastic. You're coming into, say, a new reality. You might feel separate from, say, a lot of individuals, which is okay because you exist in another consciousness. It's all about, again, at a higher level. So you might be disconnected from people, but you're okay with it. So again, this next level, as, say, consciousness or humans awaken, people at your level will start to elevate to that next level much easier. And this is where you expand. Before it was about fixing things, this is about, say, coming into your, say, grand version of who you are. Exponential intelligence is not about fixing things, guys. It's not about living, say, with that channel that you don't like to watch or experience. It's about changing the channel and just living a whole different scenario. So you're doing a great job, by the way. This one, TAS, TAS, I've done 21 days, 3 times, 18 days. Yeah, it used to be called a 21-day, but it got so efficient, we only need 18 days. Please scan my progress. So for you, you have the one ability or the one habit that you have is that you have this propensity to say, yeah, you have this propensity to, you do really, really well, but then somehow you kind of turn around and recycle yourself. So that's a problem. So let's disconnect you from that. Sometimes when I do this for you and you're ready, is that you'll start to go forward. Say like you're on a leash. Okay, basically you've been on a leash, and you've been on a leash, and the leash only allows you to go 100 feet out. As soon as you hit 100 feet, even if you're like running towards it, you'll stop. Right. So that's what happens, and everything stops at that 100-foot mark. So with XI, it's like you've taken the leash off, but then you run and then you automatically stop at that 100-foot mark, although nothing's holding you back. So I'm just like telling you or allowing your frequency. It's like, hey, step out, step beyond. And then as you step out, that's where that expansive and you feel really free. Okay. They do that to elephants, by the way. If you've ever seen elephants, they train elephants when they're babies. They have these huge chains on that baby elephant, and they keep tugging and they can't get away. And then later on, they put a little stick, with a little tiny rope. If you've ever wondered at the zoo, or how does that elephant just stay there with that little tiny rope? That's why they've been trained. And as soon as they feel that little tug, they won't go any further. So again, although they could just tear everything apart, right? I would say same thing with you. Just go forward. Okay. So when you feel that pull to go backwards, that's that point, that limiting point that you go, nope, I'm going forward this time. Right? This one, can you help me open my third eye through scanning, please? Yes. So this was Sarah Collins. So yeah, so opening your third eye, that's really cool. And yeah, I can do that. But to maintain that, and then, and again, you open your third eye, but say that you don't have the knowledge to understand what comes in through the third eye. Is it going to help you? So what we do here at XI is literally say, enhance yourself. And as you enhance yourself and you have, say, the intelligence and the wisdom to process what you're seeing, right? Then your third eye automatically opens. Does that make sense to you? And then when you're at that level, when you're solid like you are, and I can open it up a bit for you, sure. And for those people who want that, say, third eye, it's just a higher level of, say, seeing this reality. That's all. Take a deep breath in. If you want to notice your forehead, third eye area, although at the higher levels of XI, it's not just this area, it's your whole presence. Say that analyzes things. There's some misconceptions that just because of time, won't talk about the third eye. There we go. But we do talk about that on the 18 days. Breath in again. There we go. So that should allow you to open up your third eye or to see vision. So for you, and I forgot whoever I was working on, for you, you'll start to see say fragments of reality. So this reality will not look, say, solid for you because you're at that level. So again, congratulations. That was, yeah, Sarah. Again, we'll take one more person. Joy, could you please scan me? Really appreciate your help. Thank you. Yeah, so for you, Joy, it seems that there's a lot of, you trust, and because of the way you trust, you get hurt. So you're very fearful. So you're getting to the point, even with XI, Joy, that, it's like you're getting to the point that, that, you can open up, but to open up, you have to trust not me, but you trust your higher self. Okay. You trust your higher self, or anything else outside of you. Again, you trust outside of you, not your higher self. Although your higher self is more accurate, and you've seen that. It's like, shit, I should have. You get visions, so to speak, but you don't listen to your visions. You trust somebody else, and it's like, damn it, why didn't I trust my own self? So you're getting to that point, a pivotal point, again, with the work that you've done, where you go, should I go left or should I go right? Okay. And right is the right way to go. So when you get that, say, opportunity, or that decision, you get to that point, that fork in the road for you, Joy, you want to go towards the path that feels, say, more insecure for you, okay? Because that's your new self. So you always want to guarantee before you go forward. The reason why you choose the wrong path, because you're familiar with it and it looks more safe for you. But as you found out through experience, it's not any safer, okay? Knowing what's ahead of you, right? Again, so you're going to back up and go, wait a second, I've tried this path before. It wasn't any good for me. I'm going to try this path less traveled by myself. And as you do, you start to connect with your higher version of who you are. So whatever you've done with XI and with me, it's basically, it's like now you're getting an opportunity, say, to trust your higher self or your spirit, okay? Or your timeless self, as I call it. And then, but it takes a bit of trust or a bit of faith to go, well, I'm just going to try this new version or this new concept or this new path for myself. And then you'll see that it works out. And then you have more faith because you have proof that it worked out. And then you go deeper and deeper. And that's where you really expand, or you become, again, in this scenario, enlightened. So, all right, guys, we could go on and on, but obviously time values here. Thanks for being here. Take a look at, sign up for this, guys. Sign up to be a subscriber. Tell your friends to sign up for the YouTube, YouTube channel. Also, sign up for the newsletter if you'd like to be part of the Seeking for Truth meditation that's coming out within the next, say, week and a half, for the truckers, all those individuals who want to find truth, right? So if you're into that, no matter which side you're on, if you're into finding truth, not your truth, but the truth, then sign up and we'll do a universal meditation on that. All right, guys, as always, notice what you notice those details. All right, peace.